In this installment of the Nordrum 2 tutorials, we'll have a look at how to do some more advanced syntheses, taking advantage of the instrument's ability to imitate real acoustic drums and percussion. If you initialize the sound on channel 1 and go to the wave parameter, you'll see that the default waveform is called D1. The D waveforms are modeled after the resonance of drum heads, with the added possibility of tuning the harmonics of the drum via the spectra parameter. You can also choose the amount and length of the harmonics by using the timbre parameters. To give an example of a practical application of this, we'll make a kick drum. Choose waveform D7 and change the filter frequency on the noise down to 10. Add a bit of click by setting the click parameter to 6. Now change the pitch down to 31. And add some pitch bend. I'm setting both bend and time to 15. Increase the decay to 25 to add a bit of rumble. Add a bit of punch by setting the punch parameter to L1. So that's the basic way to make a kick drum with almost any waveform, but the D waveforms in particular allow for a bit more fine tuning. For example, check out what the timbre decay parameter does to the sound now. If you reduce the decay of the harmonics by setting this parameter to 0, you'll be left with only the fundamental frequency. On the other hand, opening the envelope all the way to 50 lets all of the harmonics ring the full length of the decay parameter. And anywhere in between will be fine for a kick drum, so I'll leave it at 30. Keep in mind though that the harmonics are also dynamic, and in this example the timbre parameter is set to 0. This means that a lower velocity will play fewer harmonics and you won't be able to hear the different settings of the timbre, decay and spectra parameters. Tuning the spectrum of the harmonics using the spectra parameter allows you to look for a sweet spot that fits the sound you're making. I think that's even more relevant for snare drum sounds, so let's copy this sound to channel 2 and change the pitch up to 58. Let's remove some of the pitch bend too. I'm setting time and bend both to 10. Now select waveform D2. If you try changing the spectra parameter, you'll find a bunch of interesting settings. And many different basic characteristics for drum sounds. I'm quite happy with 39, so let's move on. If you want this to sound like a snare, first add some more click by setting the click parameter to 30. Then change the filter frequency of the noise up to 27. And increase the decay of the noise to 18. Adding a little bit of attack to the noise can help make the sound slightly more natural. Let's make some toms. Copy the sound from channel 2 to channels 3, 4, 5 and 6. Use the edit group function to edit all of these toms at the same time by going back to channel 3 and pressing Shift Edit Group until all 4 channels are indicated with red lights. Now, every change you make to any channel in this group will be reflected in all of the other channels in the group as well. First select the mix parameter and remove some of the noise by setting it to 1520. Also make the noise darker sounding by reducing the filter frequency to 18. Remove the attack we added to the noise as well. Reduce the level of the click to 25. and change the click type to C5. Change the pitch down to 54. Let's find another waveform for the toms. D8 sounds good. Now reduce the timbre envelope to 25, meaning that even at full velocity, fewer of the harmonics will resonate. This is a decent sounding tom, so leave the edit group mode by holding Shift Edit Group until all the LEDs go out. Select a different pitch for each tom. We can keep channel 3 at 54, but let's pitch channel 4 down to 49. And channel 5 down to 43. Lastly, channel 6 down to 38. Also, I find that it can be nice to change the filter frequency for each channel individually. So go to channel 4 and reduce the filter frequency by a few steps. Do the same for each channel, reducing the filter frequency slightly until you're happy with the sound. Creating individual variations like these when you have several similar sounding channels can go a long way in creating a more organic kit. Now, plenty of these parameters are already behaving dynamically, including pitch bend, filter envelope, and timbre, but we'll also edit the decay envelopes of the entire kit. If you press and hold Shift Edit Group, all of the channels will be selected. Set decay low of the tone section to 18. And in the noise section to 10. If you play the whole kit now, you'll hear the complex effect dynamic playing has on the sound. Keeping the edit group mode on, let's move on to the master section. Select the distortion parameter and turn it up to 6 for a gentle saturation of the whole kit. Next, select the EQ gain parameter and turn it up to 5. Now leave the edit group mode by pressing and holding Shift Edit Group. We'll select a sweet spot for the EQ on each channel individually. First, go to channel 1. Notice that as you change the EQ frequency up and down, you add a slight boost to this sound at whichever frequency you've selected. To me, 80 Hz sounds like a sweet spot. Moving on to channel 2, 4.3 kHz will add a bit of mid-range bite to the snare. Next, a slight boost at 260 Hz makes the tom more powerful. And moving on, I'll set the frequencies of the next 3 toms at 230, 200, and 150 Hz. Now let's try panning these toms a bit wider to create a more spacious feel. Go back to channel 3 and select the pan parameter and pull it right to 1220. Next channel, set it to 1720. And channel 5, pan it left to 2015. And finally, channel 6 left to 2010. So now you've made a traditional drum kit with kick, snare and toms. Remember to try different settings yourself in order to discover more nuances.